One of the most important things that I learned to do as an adult is to match energies. Trust me, I cannot think of anything that has helped me in my interpersonal relationships, both professional and personal relationships. Matching energy is the best thing since sliced bread. And I wasn't always like this. In fact, I used to be anti-matching energies because I would say, oh, well, don't reduce yourself to their level, blah, blah, blah. And trust me, you not matching energy will only set you up for serious issues. I started matching energies because I realized at some point in my life that one of the reasons I was always showing up for people, being available, was because I just thought that it made sense to be available for people so that when it is my turn for people to show up for me, they will be available for me too. That's the most clownish thing ever. The fact that you're available for people does not in any way mean that they'll be available for you too. That is one of the shocking lessons I learned in life. I was so shocked. I've been in different situations where people I showed up for, like, I was always there for them, always there in different ways. And when I needed help, and I mean, it's weird to say, but I hardly ever need help. That's the thing. Like, not because I hardly ever actually need help, but because it takes me a lot to ask people for help. So the few times that I needed these people to be there for me, it was all crickets. It was all crickets. I could give a million examples, but I'm going to give some examples of real life situations that I've been in. So I used to have this person in my life. We were, okay, I don't want to talk about the kind of relationship that we had, but she was in my life. We had a relationship of sorts, and I would just always come through for her. So she would call me to ask for help, and I'll just go running. And it wasn't that it was like convenient for me, because at the time I was working from home. I had a full-time job. It was still hard because sometimes I just wanted to focus on my task. But she would call me and be like, oh, I need your help with blah, blah. And I'll just, go all the way. And it made sense to me at the time that I was going out of my way to help this person, because I just felt, okay, it could be my turn tomorrow and, I'll need her help. And the first time ever that I needed her help, it was to do something very simple. It was to do the simplest, tiniest thing ever. It was so minute. In fact, let me just tell you what it was, what I needed her help with. I needed her help with something that had to do with like wearing a dress, because I wanted to wear a dress for an event I was going for, and I needed her help with the dress. It wasn't like I wanted her to do anything elaborate. It wasn't the kind of dress you could wear on your own, and I needed her help in wearing the dress. And I called her the day before to tell her about, I'm going to need your help. Now, normally, I wouldn't call. I wouldn't expect her to call me if she needed that kind of help from me the day before. But I was just being polite. I like to respect people's time and all that. So I called her the day before, and I'm like, hey, tomorrow I'm going for an event and I need your help with this dress. And she's like, oh, I can't. And that was it. I was shocked. I was very shocked. And you know what's so funny? While I was at that event, she texted me to ask for my help about something. And I just thought to myself, wow, human beings are funny. I can't think of a reason why she would not be able to help. We're literally neighbors. I cannot think of a reason why she would be unable to help. Because what? That's like the least. She didn't even give me a reason. I would think that it's someone that come through for me on different occasions. I would want to give them a reason as to why I can't be available to do something so simple. I figured eventually that she didn't want to do it because I was going for the event early in the morning. I think the event was slated for 8 a.m. or something. She didn't want to have to wake up early to do that for me. And it's funny because I would pause my task at my job to come through for you, but you can't wake up by 8 a.m. to help me with my dress. That's not the only one. And I had this other person who was in my life, and whenever she needed help with anything or she just needed someone to talk to, I was always there like, sit, I'm listening. And if anyone knows me, I'm a good listener. So I listen well, and I like to help, really, because I feel like a lot of people need people to talk to, and I try as much as possible to play therapist when I can. So she would come to me and talk, and we would just, dive into these issues that she had. We would dissect them, talk about them, and I'll try everything that was possible to make her feel comfortable. I'll let her just vent to me. But on one particular occasion, something happened and it really upset me. I was so upset so upset about it. And I remember sending her a voice note, just letting my anger out, talking about how I'm so upset, I'm so pissed, I'm so this, I'm so that. I was really mad, and I expected that, okay, she would give the same sort of like energy that I would give her problems, or that I would give her when she rants to me. And then she just responded by sending another voice note. And she talked about what I had just ranted to her about, what I had spent minutes long voice notes telling her about. She spent, say, less than a minute addressing the issue. And then in that voice note, I think that voice note was, say, like a 2-minute voice note. Let's just say she spent the first 40 seconds addressing my issue and the whole rant thing, and then she spent the rest of the voice note telling me about her problems and asking to talk about it. And that wasn't the only time in the course of our relationship that I would talk to her about something and she would just sort of like either ignore the issue, gloss over it, and then start talking about her own issues. It was crazy. At some point, I just had to admit to myself that this person is being selfish, and they've always been, selfish. So I decided to start matching energies. But before that happened, I was just so full of resentment. And that is why I started matching energies. Resentment. I had so much. I sat down in my room one day and I realized that I had so much resentment in my heart, for people around me, because I just kept giving and giving, and I didn't feel like I was being compensated for the things that I gave. And for me, I'm not a charity person. Like, I'm not doing charity. So I definitely am the kind of person to say, yes, I expect that if I'm giving you something, not necessarily, I hope you know that this is not about like material stuff, but even then, if I'm giving you something, if I'm being there for you, if I'm giving you my shoulders, my ears, if I'm going all out for you, supporting you when you need support, showing up for your events, showing up in just being there for you, I expect the same in return. And I felt like the people in my life at that particular time were not exactly reciprocating all that I was giving. And I told myself, I know what I bring to the table. Listen, when you know what you bring to the table, you're never going to be scared of eating alone. So I wasn't scared of eating alone because I was already eating alone. I was already sort of alone. I was already feeling alone because it was like I had this many people, and when they needed me, I showed up. But when I needed them, they either don't show up at all, or they, just half-ass the whole thing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done with all this. And that was so liberating. The person who didn't show up didn't want to help me with the dress. Can't remember what exactly she asked me for, but I remember she asked me for a favor, and I just told her that I can't grant the favor, and that was it. And then she came another time and was all okay. She needed my help with this, and I'm like, oh, sorry, that I won't be able to do that for you. And that was it. She stopped reaching out to me. She stopped talking to me, and it's good riddance, really. And to the second person in my story, I just gave the same energy that she gave to my issues. Like, it's oh this happened and that happened, and I'm like, oh, sorry about that. So sorry about that. And that's it. Because no way I'm going to be playing therapist for someone who can't even be there for me. It's just, nah. So when I started matching energies, all the resentment I had been feeling, it's just disappeared. It's just dissolved. I stopped feeling it. And it was so bad because the resentment was eating away at me. It was eating at my self-esteem. It was eating at so many things. And the minute I started reciprocating and just matching energies, meeting people where they met me, everything disappeared. Now I feel so much peace. So much. I felt so much peace for a very long time now, because I don't go out of my way for people who don't go out of their way for me. It's just that simple. Once I notice that the whole thing is not being equal, it's not giving, I just start not giving too, It's like if you're doing 0, I'm doing 0. If you're doing 5, I'm doing 5. And if you're doing 10, I'm doing 10. This is how it is now. And trust me, it's the best decision I ever made. Ever made. When you start feeling resentment, it's because you have a lot of unmet expectations. And that was the case with me. I had a lot of expectations of the people that were in my life at the time. And they were not meeting my expectations. And why did I have those expectations? It was because of my own actions. When you go out of your way for people, you want them to go out of their way for you too, or at least try. Obviously, I had expectations because I was doing the most. But when my expectations were not being met, I started to feel resentment. And if the resentment started getting to me, I was falling sick, like physically sick all the time. I was feeling bad, constantly feeling bad. I felt it was just all a very low vibrational, thing, because I was just never exactly happy. I never felt like I was sane and catered to. But now that I meet and that I match energies, right? I have all that I need because I don't need to go out of my way for someone that is not going out of their way for me. I'm able to reserve that energy for myself and to take care of my needs. Do you understand? And for the people who are doing, who I would say they are there for me and they are matching my expectations because I do for them, I go out of my way for them and they're showing up for me too. I don't have a problem with, giving them all my energy because I know that when I need their help, they will be there. So I go out of my way for them. I don't feel like I'm wasting my energy no, I feel good doing things for them because I know that if I were in their shoes, they will show up 100%. So it feels good doing things for people that you know that if situations were turned around, if the tables were turned, they would do the exact same thing for you. Yes, that's it. That's why I started matching energies because I was starting to feel resentment. And resentment is not a good thing. Trust me. Like, you don't want to be in a relationship with someone or people and you resent them. It's such a foul feeling because you start to secretly dislike them. And that is how the whole friend immunity thing starts. So if you're in the same situation I'm in, I would advise you to start matching energies. You should go out to all out for people. Like, doing things for people sometimes can bring you so much joy, but it doesn't make sense when those people never show up for you too. It just doesn't make sense. If you're doing all the giving, all the doing, and the people in your life are not reciprocating, you're not going to be happy. No matter how much you try to convince yourself that you're only trying to be a good person, and you being a good person is not predicated on another person being a good person, it's not going to make sense. You need to reserve your energy for people who truly value your energy. And how can people show you that they value your energy? It is by reciprocating that energy when needs be. Otherwise, what is the point? Now, this is an unplanned video. I definitely did not plan this earlier, but I felt the need to talk about this, and I think it will help some people, especially because we now live in a world where people are so selfish. People want to take and take and take and never give anything in return. Thank you very much for listening. This is Fola, your home girl. Please like and subscribe.